The U.S. Treasury Secretary confirming today that under the White House's coronavirus stimulus plan, a family of 4 could receive $3,000 in cash.
Steve Mnuchin making that statement in a televised interview from earlier today. Western Mass News reporter Audrey Russo joins us live in Springfield to break down what that means for families. Audrey?
The messaging from Mnuchin and the White House coronavirus task force really has been about speed when it comes to the stimulus package. They're now looking at getting Americans this money on a timetable of 3 weeks for the first wave of checks. Now, I spoke with Congressman Richard Neal about some of these efforts coming out of Capitol Hill to help Americans.
It's my own belief that $1,000 in terms of an infusion, again, in cash in the hands of people who are going to need it. They use it for the day-to-day considerations. I think that's really important.
Congressman Richard Neal speaking to Western Mass News on the coronavirus stimulus package approved by Congress. U.S. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin says the plan will give $1,000 to every adult and $500 for every child. So a couple with 2 children added up would receive $3,000. Mnuchin says these funds would come in the next 3 weeks, and then that same amount could be sent out again 6 weeks later if the pandemic persists. Congressman Neal agreeing that another wave of cash could be needed to tide over Americans with financial struggles because of the virus.
They all believe there's going to be a second round of money that's going to have to be put back into the economy as well.
Neal said his other priority is job retention in the wake of furloughs and layoffs.
Looking at this massive spike in unemployment projections, we hope that that will only be temporary, but the suggestion is that we build a bridge for those so that they can get back to work fast. That this cannot be about bonuses, this cannot be about outsourcing, and this has to be about the employees first and the consumers as well.
President Trump confident that efforts to preserve jobs are critical to boosting the economy back.
And one of the things they're working, as you know, one of the elements that is being worked on very much so in the Hill is to keep the jobs going so that when we do get rid of the virus, we're going to be able to just really, I think, go like a rocket. I think the economy is going to be fantastic. Now, when he said that,
And when it comes to that money that Americans would see in the next 3 weeks, the phrase that was being used earlier in the week by the task force was checks in the mail. Mnuchin clarifying today that it would likely be a direct deposit so that the money could be put right into Americans' bank accounts. Live in Springfield, Audrey Russo for Western Mass News.